You won't believe what just happened. 𝗖𝗆 actually opened the gates of Celestia, looked down at the plebeians below, and acknowledged that we exist. And not just with a passive-aggressive "thank you for your continued support." This time, we got actual features, actual UI changes, announced publicly by Hoyoverse. Wild! It started off as one of those usual dev posts where they say, "We're planning to add this quality of life thing." But then they dropped this line, starting from version 5.7. And I had to double take, because Hoyoverse has this pattern, right? This thing when they announce something players have been begging for months, but then end it with, "coming in 3 updates from now." Like, oh, come on. Okay, bro. I guess we are back to edging the community for retention. But no, this time, it's actually happening soon, in just a few weeks as well, which already makes it feel unreal. Like they're trying to trick us into believing that they care or something. Oh my god, 𝗖𝗆, do you actually care about me now? And then, as if that wasn't weird enough, we also got the unofficial bombshell that Paimon might be getting recast. That alone could have carried discourse for a week, but nah, they followed up with a feature people genuinely thought would never happen. Artifact loadouts, real ones, on the official page, with screenshots and video proof. I mean, what kind of timeline are we living in? Naturally, Genshin Twitter melted down. Content creators hit that dopamine high immediately. Some started spamming Genshin W. Others genuinely declared, "Genshin is peak again." Like, I mean, calm down, man. It's not that crazy, I believe. I get it though. We have been in this drought for so long that even a slightly competent design feels like a full course meal. But is Genshin really back? Or are we all just so burnt out from waiting that even the bare minimum looks like a miracle? Also worth noting, the 5.7 live stream is literally happening in a few days. You best believe I will be watching it live here on YouTube and Twitch and Kick. Yes, I'm a Kick streamer now. So if you want to be there when it inevitably underdelivers, go ahead and hit that sub or follow. We can cope together. But alright, first of all, the artifact loadouts. After 5 years of manually swapping 5 pieces of gear every time I want to play a different team, we finally have presets. The loadout system that we all so wanted.
Hold up.
Wait, is it already in the game?
I should be jumping out of my seat right now, right? But instead, I'm jumping out of my window. I'm just kidding. You're telling me I'm only getting 2 per character? I mean, like, what, really? Like, yeah, I guess it's better than nothing. But the moment you realize there is still no universal loadout system, the hype kind of dies. You have to go into every individual character one by one and set things up manually. There's no shared library. There is no drag and drop presets, no team-wide view, just the same character screen we have been staring at since 1.0. Now with slightly more buttons. So it's progress, I guess. But it's still wrapped in the same dusty framework that has always held Genshin's UI back. Now the new set filter feature, on paper, it sounds promising. It lets you pick a set and a main stat, and it auto-generates a build that fits. But the way it is described, it is like super vague. Like, can I edit the pieces it picks? Can I swap just one out without resetting the whole thing? Or is this one of those smart suggestions that immediately falls apart the second you want control? It is hard to tell because they didn't explain it, at least not in a written update, right? And here's where it gets weird. In the demo version, they do show what looks like a before and after stat preview. Like if you equip a loadout and it shows your full spread, you know, crit, attack percent, energy regen, all of it, which is great. And that is exactly the kind of holistic comparison we have been asking for. But again, they just show it in a video. They don't actually say a word about the patch notes. So now we are all sitting here trying to read between the frames of a demo video to figure out whether this feature actually works the way we want, which honestly just reinforces the real issue: communication. Hoyoverse somehow managed to make a long-awaited quality of life update feel like a damn puzzle, and we won't know if it actually delivers until it goes live. So yeah, artifact loadouts are here, kind of. The concept is kind of solid, I think. It's what players have been begging for since launch. Now, despite all of that, right, I'm still happy that it exists, which probably says more about the state of Genshin Impact than it does about the patch itself. But here is the part that really blindsided me. Credit to St. Tontus for digging into this, because what we all thought was a new system might not even be new. That auto-generate feature, the one with all the drop-downs for the substats, the set types, filters, it is already in the game. It has been in the game.
Look at, like, it's just this. It's basically just like an interface of this. What is the point? What is the point anymore? Wait, is it already in the game?
Most of y'all just didn't recognize it because the UI is so clunky and the system is so irrelevant that no one ever used it. And that's not just a hot take. Multiple Genshin content creators saw the 5.7 preview and didn't even realize it was the same exact interface. That is how forgettable and buried this thing is. Nobody uses it. So what is actually being added here? 2 save slots. That's it. They're just letting you store 2 of these auto-generated sets per character. There is no drag and drop. There is no manual selection. You still can't take your current gear, hit save, and call it a day. You are stuck with a system that builds a set for you, and you don't even get to confirm or tweak it before locking it in. And maybe there is a compare button hidden in there somewhere, but from everything shown, it looks like it just lets you stare at the options, not actually equip them. There is no swap button, no override button. It is not a loadout system. It is a recommendation engine, and not a good one. So now we have gone from this QOL is undercooked to this isn't even new. It is just a rebranded feature from an older patch that was so underwhelming the entire community memory hold it. All they did was staple on 2 save slots and call it innovation, which is just wild. They made a whole dev post about this, animated a preview, rolled this out like it was a headline change. Meanwhile, the core system hasn't evolved at all. It is still locked into auto generation. It's still clunky as hell, and it still can't do the one thing players actually want. Let me save the set I'm already wearing. God damn. That is it. That is what everyone has been asking for. And instead, we got a cosmetic update to a system that no one used in the first place. Next, Spiral Abyss finally gets a retry button, a feature people have been asking for since basically launch. And to be fair, it is here, kind of. The way they describe it is, if you haven't obtained all abyssal stars after clearing a chamber, you can now choose to retry the previous one or move on, which sounds great, right? Until you realize it doesn't apply to the one chamber where it would actually matter. Floor 12, chamber 3. You know, at the end, the part there is supposed to be the real test, the sweaty DPS check, the HP bloated bosses, the bosses that fly around and you can't hit it. It is all in chamber 3, floor 12. If you don't 3-star it, you probably want to run it back immediately, but no, because after you finish that, they just auto-claim your rewards and boot you to the summary screen. And that's it. There's no retry. There's no second attempt. I hope you enjoyed your 1-star reward. Wait a minute, there is no 1-star reward. And the wording in their announcement doesn't help either. It is the usual vague Hoyoverse phrasing that forces players to spend half a day theory crafting what the sentence structure might imply. They say that the retry is available if you haven't obtained all stars. But then for 12.3, they say rewards are claimed after clearing, not after fully completing, or not after all 3-starring, just clearing. Which if you have played this game for more than, I don't know, a month, a week, you know that their favorite loophole, clearing, doesn't mean beating it well. It means you stepped in, you survived the timer, and didn't die. That's it. It's like your weekly missions in the battle pass, where you have to clear domains, you have to clear ley lines. You don't have to actually claim the rewards with resin. You will get the points after you finish the challenge. You can just walk out after beating it. It still counts. So this retry button is just another case of Hoyoverse dangling the idea of convenience. But only if you stay within the rules they decide are convenient. If you fail on floor 11, congrats, you get a retry. If you fail on floor 12, chamber 2, you get a retry. But screw up at 12.3, the chamber that actually matters for min-maxers, speedrunners, and anyone chasing that last primo gem crumb, oh, I'm sorry, you gotta retry the whole thing, buddy. You gotta go back to 12.1. It is just sad. This could have been a clean win, a one-line quality of life change that actually respected players' time. But no, they couldn't even go all the way in. 5 years of asking, and we get a retry button that only works sometimes. It is like Hoyoverse finally gives you an umbrella during a storm, but only after the rain stops, and they cut off the handle as well. So you're just there looking at the sky, dark clouds, and it's just raining. Every day you wait for a quality of life change, and it just doesn't give you that. That is what it feels to be a Genshin player. But a lot of these players say that, oh, actually the rainbow just comes out after the rain. But it's been raining for 5 years. So what am I supposed to do now? This is so disappointing. On to the rest of the UI updates. And this section is basically a highlight reel of almost good enough. Let's start with a win, because there is at least one in here, right? The continuous leveling on the talent page. It finally lets you just, you know, go on and leveling up without kicking you every single time. Like some kind of punishment for trying to build your character. There is no catch. There is no weird restriction. Just a basic quality of life feature that actually works, which is weirdly impressive for me. Damn, Genshin Impact. And then there's the test run explanation. options. Now, I'm not saying this is useless. I am sure guide makers will appreciate not having to juggle 3 windows just to piece together a character's kit. But for the average player, this is just more text. Wuthering Waves have already showed us what good onboarding looks like. Their tutorials walk you through the combos, reward you for pressing buttons in order, and give you a reason to actually engage with a character. It is not about hand-holding, it is about making the experience playable without a reading comprehension exam. Genshin is still in the college lecture, then maybe you get to fight something era. And sure, and of course, the reward claiming optimization. You can now use fragile resin or transient resin to claim triple rewards in a domain or a ley line. Oh my god, that is time saved. Farming streamlined. So you're gonna do it with original resin too, right? Right? Why? The resin you actually generate passively. So once again, they dangled the solution, but only if you use the extra item. They almost fixed the system, almost. But then, condensed resin still exists, and we can't just trade 40 or 60 resin for 2x or 3x rewards without crafting some alchemical goo at a bench like it's 2021. Oh wait, it is still basically 2021 Genshin. The game has stagnated for 4 years. It is not like this is technically hard to implement. The game already tracks how much resin you're using, and the fact that it hasn't changed all these years is less a limitation and more a conscious design choice. And at this point, it feels less like an oversight and more like stubbornness. The same stories with navigation tools. Being able to track ley lines and bosses directly from the handbook, that should have been there in version 1.0. It is not exciting anymore. This is just something that makes you wonder why it took so long. Hey 𝗿𝗏, do you need to pay $1 million for this feature? Damn, that must be the reason. I mean, you're getting so much money every patch. And these changes, this is like what? This is nothing to you. A Chinese baby just got out of the womb could program this inside your game, and you're telling me you needed 5 years to open the feedback page? And this new smart recommendation system for regions and bosses, like who is this even for? It is not bad, but no one is sitting around struggling to find Pyro Regisvine in 2025. And even if you were, the Adventurer Handbook's new weakness display isn't going to help. It tells you vague resistances and traits. There is no numbers, no real clarity. I mean, serious players already tab out to like 𝗖cie𝗽𝗆𝗵𝘁 mains or whatever their source of truth is. This is just filler. This is like a nap time story. Hey, Genshin Impact, maybe your next collab should be Teletubbies. Even the new resource download options, right? Which sounds like a real feature. It comes with a classic Genshin asterisk. You can now pick between full or basic resources before downloading. It is awesome. Oh, it says right here that it's on mobile, but you're gonna do that for PC too, right? Right? Why? What should have been a universal storage management tool ends up being half-baked feature rollout. Again, Genshin, your game size is 100 gigabytes. There's this like reoccurring theme with Genshin's UI updates. They give you what you ask for, just nerf or fragment it, or slightly inconvenient, or very inconvenient. The illusion of progress without ever fixing the root of the issue. And yeah, you could argue that we're being picky, but after 5 years, I don't think it's too much to ask for systems that feel finished. Like, are Genshin players actually happy being treated like this? Like, genuinely asking here, because I'm not coming from a place of hate. I care about this game. I used to play this game. I played this game for 4.5 years. I want to like this game. I want to go back and play my 𝗖cie𝗽𝗆𝗵𝘁 and Diluc, the characters I paid for skins on. I want to log in and I want to play my Hu Tao double Geo team, destroy everything. But every time I come back, it sucks. It still sucks. The stamina system sucks. The dialogue is still bloated beyond belief. That sucks. The cutscenes feel like unskippable lectures. There is no skip or even a summarize option. That sucks. We are still trapped in this weird job simulator where your shift starts the second your resin cap hits. There is still no resin overflow. That sucks. We are still bottlenecked by weekly bosses that's gonna lock you to 1 drop per week. That sucks. There is that lousy crown system. Still can't even talent farm freely every day. Like we are rationing gameplay in a single player gacha. How is this still the norm? It sucks. And now we get these not even half-baked updates that feel more like a prank than a patch. Oh wait, I can't wait to add in this resource management system, but I'm gonna make it mobile only. Yeah, I can't wait to see the faces of the PC players. Yeah. This is Hoyoverse in a nutshell. A genie that hears your wish. It grants it, but only in the most unhelpful, convoluted way possible. And what really depresses me is how many people looked at this and went, oh my god, Genshin is back. It's peak, bro. Peak? Bro, this isn't peak. This is rock bottom with a fresh coat of paint. This is scraping the WD-40 in the bottom of the barrel, and you're gonna lick it and you're gonna... We are celebrating being able to level level up a talent without getting kicked out, like it is some revolutionary system. It is not innovation, it is a sigh of relief that they finally fixed a 5-year-old annoyance. That is the trap, because every time Genshin takes a step in the right direction, people act like it's a miracle. But this is something that I want you to understand. It is not enough for Genshin to take a step in the right direction, because a step only matters if you take another one. And Hoyoverse, Genshin Impact, they take one step, they wait 6 months, and then they wait for a year or 2 or 3, and then drop a thank you letter, and then they just stop in place there for months, for years. It is exhausting, because I want to love this game again. I miss it, but every time I try to go back, I am reminded of why I left. And the sad part, I know I'm not the only one. So what is the takeaway here? Genshin Impact finally moved, but in true Hoyoverse fashion, it tripped over its own feet doing it. We've got the illusion of progress, dressed up in shiny dev posts and animated previews. But peel back the layers, and it is still the same crusty systems with a couple of extra buttons duct taped on. They didn't reinvent anything. They didn't even finish reinventing what they started, and they just recycled an old UI, tossed in a half-functioning retry button, and called it a patch. And somehow, that was enough to get the fandom cheering like it was the version 1.0 again. Stockholm Syndrome is crazy. Look, I'm not here to say Genshin is fully dead, but it might as well be dead. It doesn't matter how much revenue it gets. Where does it go? To their 7th private jet, to their 11th yacht, to their $50 million penthouse, to a freaking nuclear reactor. I want to believe that it can be more than that. But until Hoyoverse starts shipping complete systems, not half measures, we are just gonna keep looping this same tired cycle. So yeah, artifact loadouts, kind of retry button, almost. Quality of life, if you squint on it, it is basically a quality of life that needed a quality of life that needed another quality of life. Genshin is not back, it just remembered that we exist, and that is not a comeback, it is a check-in. See you at the live stream on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick, and let's watch the next disappointment together. God damn it. This is just so sad.